Has anyone traveled outside the U.S.?
Yeah.
What do you remember the most?
Food.
All right, what do you remember?
Monkeys.
Oh, monkey. Where'd you go?
Costa Rica.
All right, and what do you remember the most?
The architecture.
The architecture. All right, well, you two are lucky because today we're going to talk about Salamanca's architecture and gastronomy. Unfortunately, there aren't any monkeys. Salamanca is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. I'm sure you're all asking yourself, what is UNESCO? Well, it stands for the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. It's a mouthful, I know. That's why I call it UNESCO, because it's easier to say and easier to remember. All right, so they are responsible for a list of World Heritage Sites, and they base this off of certain criteria. And there are 10 criteria in total, and a site must meet at least one of these criteria to be nominated. Salamanca meets 3. Those are criteria 1, 2, and 4, which means that UNESCO sees Salamanca as a masterpiece of human genius, a site that documents important interchange of human values, and a place to see the varying degrees of architectural stages in human history. On paper, I know it sounds boring, but on the inside, it's amazing. Once you go there and see it, oh, it's wonderful. You realize that it needs to be observed and preserved too. It's full of architecture that you can't see here in the States. Walking down the cobblestone streets, you look around and all the buildings are made of the same stone. And that's because in the city center, they're mandated that way. In order to keep their UNESCO nomination, the city has decided that all those buildings need to be made in the same stone to keep it cohesive. But Salamanca's architecture is anything but cohesive. There are many different styles. The most famous example is the cathedral. It's referred to in separate parts as the Old Cathedral and the New Cathedral. It represents different styles of architecture. The Old Cathedral is representative of Romanesque features with Gothic accents, whereas the New Cathedral has Gothic elements, but due to the time, it took a while to build, so it also exhibits Renaissance and Baroque elements. Another is the Plaza Mayor. And when I was in Spain, I visited many different plazas, and the Plaza Mayor in Salamanca has to be the most amazing. It was built in the 1700s and it's the Baroque style. It still stands strong and lovely today, and it's the city center where people meet up. What do they meet up for? Food, of course. Salamanca has a rich gastronomy. In all over Spain, you can find different tapas bars. Tapas are like appetizers. You buy a drink and you get a tapa. It's a really great system. Liked it a lot. And I've made a few selections here for you to kind of show you some similarities between, our appetizers and Spain's appetizers. And the first one, it's a fried egg, potato, and salami. In Spain, it's chorizo, but it's hard to get chorizo here in the States. So try it, see if you like it. The starchiness of the potatoes is offset by the creamy smoothness of the egg, and then the chorizo adds a little bit of saltiness. And also on your plate, you'll see that you have a piece of bread with a spread on it and some ham. That in Spain is bread with, I believe, 1,000 Islands spread and jamón ibérico. But getting jamón ibérico here in the States is ridiculous. It's so expensive. So, finally, after you eat all this and you're so full, you will need something else to wash it down. And as you can see in this Coke, in Spain they put lemon in their Coke, and it's really refreshing, it's really delicious. It takes a little while to get used to, but once you have it, it's like a first love. You never want to leave it. And finally, another thing unforgettable is their shrimp. I know some people in the audience like full-bodied head-on shrimp where they can pull off the head and suck out the brains, but if you're like me and you disagree with that, definitely do not get seafood paella. This poor man's Spanish rice dish is a staple, but what you don't know is that it's a mishmash of seafood parts and rice. The rice is flavorful, but the shrimp is hard to get around. So, I have some pictures for you, and this is what shrimp look like frolicking around in the ocean. And this is what shrimp look like in your paella. They have the eyes and the feely things and the tentacles. Not good. So if you go to Salamanca, you're not into pulling off shrimp heads and sucking out brains, definitely do not order the paella. But definitely go to Salamanca because it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site with a rich history and a rich gastronomy. So no matter if you love a mixture of architecture or exploring wonderful, sometimes unassuming foods, the Spanish city of Salamanca is the place for you.